What's up, guys? Dan Ken reacts here, and today I'm reacting to what wrestlers were removed from SmackDown vs. Raw games by ZM. Now, the only one I remember playing was the 2009 SmackDown vs. Raw game for the Nintendo DS. That was the best game, and I mean, it was okay, but I didn't like the graphics. It was kind of pixelated, but I think the Xbox and the PlayStation versions were better. But yeah, the DS versions, I don't know. I just didn't like the pixelated kind of like animation. But I think the only one I mostly played was Big Show and John Cena. But that was the first, the first wrestling game I had played before they started moving to the 2K series. But yeah, this was like my favorite childhood game. Sadly, I do not have that game anymore. I think I lost it over time, but let's see what wrestlers were not in the game.
I've always been fascinated by the prototype beta builds of wrestling games. To see a game that I spent so much of my life playing come to fruition with little tweaks that I never really got to see in the final project is magic to me. Today, I wanted to take a look at the cut content from wrestling games that pertains to removed wrestlers. We're going to look at the entire SVR series in this video, and if you all really like this one, I'll cover the later games in the second part. This is where it all began, SVR 05. This game means a lot to me. This is the first WWE game I actually owned as a kid. My first wrestling game was Just Bring It, but seeing guys from my era in SVR 05 was sweet. I love this game so much that I never actually kind of realized how stripped down the roster is. They got rid of so many of the heavy hitters from Here Comes the Pain, and in their place we got geeks like Chuck Palumbo. This ain't even the memorable gimmicks he had either. This is just like milquetoast Chuck Palumbo. But this game actually had unused character models left on the disc in certain builds. Brock Lesnar and Rikishi were 100% finished and just left off for contractual reasons. And the British Bulldog was finished as well. But from what I'm aware, he was removed for a licensing issue with his estate following his death. There's also leftover data on early builds of the game for Lita, Ricky Steamboat, Cactus Jack, and the Bashers. And honestly, these inclusions really would have benefited the game, I'm not gonna lie. Going forward, anyone that has said not to have a model on the disc, but I'm still showing footage of them, will be from various mods of the following SmackDown games. We're on to SVR 06 now, and the Ukes dev team had a plethora of unused wrestlers on deck here. The only wrestlers we've found so far that have complete models are Maven and Luther Reigns. But to be honest, that's awesome that they were just sitting there on the disc this whole time and we never knew. I would have loved playing as Maven as a kid. I even had a figure of him in this attire from the game.
I remember Raven. He was actually.
Everyone else I'm about to mention, though, is solely from reports of data found in early builds of SmackDown vs. Raw 2006. Both Brock Lesnar and Mr. America oddly had to be pulled. Brock was expected to sign a new deal in WWE in 2005. And Ukes kind of jumped the gun on development of his character only to realize that he chose to go to New Japan.
I think I remember hearing about that. Didn't he also go to UFC at that time? Because I think I remember he left WWE, I think in 2003 or 4. But I think I heard something about he went to UFC for something. I don't know, I can't remember. Then he ended up coming back to WWE, I think, I think 2013 or 14 he returned to WWE, but I can't remember, because I remember he went to UFC at the time. That's probably the reason why he wasn't in the games. Ukes, I think I remember Ukes. Don't they make AEW now? I thought they were still at WWE, but anyways, I don't catch up with Ukes. So let's get back into the video.
And for Hogan's Mr. America character, it was said that he had asked to have it removed in the game in favor of other iterations of his character. The Dudley Boys, Kenzo Suzuki, Victoria, and the Road Warriors were also cut from the game early enough that they have very few instances of data on the disc.
Why?
And to be honest, the Dudleys would have helped this game a lot. The tag team roster was very lacking in 2005 WWE. Here we are at SVR 07. This is an undisputed classic, and there's only one singular wrestler that has been alluded to have been in the early builds of the game in a roster slot with no model. Yokozuna's 500-pound ass was supposed to debut in SVR 07. I cannot even imagine Yokozuna in this Legends roster.
Why?
That would be awesome. And it almost makes sense to me, though, because there was only one ultra heavyweight in the game, being Great Khali. Surely Yokozuna would have been another ultra heavyweight. What a weird omission from THQ. After that ridiculousness, though, we get to SVR 08. And we gotta get to the elephant in the room here. Yes, The Miz has an announcer call in this game, and he was 100% planned to be included on the disc.
From Cleveland, Ohio, weighing in at 231 pounds, The Miz.
He does not have a model, though, unfortunately. Oh, and, you know, Chris Benoit had to be scrubbed from the game halfway through development, and that's why the game is so bare bones.
I remember hearing about that. The Chris Benoit situation. I think SmackDown versus Raw 2006 was probably his last one. But what's also kind of scary is that they actually predicted what would happen in 2007 with him and The Undertaker when they do that little promo in the game. I think it was a story mode if I remember, but that was shocking that they actually did that. I can't believe they would do that. And then a year later, it happened. So that's kind of weird. Are they now the Simpsons version of the WWE games? Because that's what happened with 2005, where Eddie Guerrero had a match with The Undertaker again, with The Undertaker. But it was in a casket match, if I remembered, and it was a prediction of Eddie Guerrero getting put into a casket. What is with The Undertaker and those two? Like, is there a prediction between him and The Undertaker? Like, what is going on? And those two did happen. Like, that is so shocking. But anyways, I'm getting sidetracked.
Because they used a lot of dev time to get rid of Benoit. But London and Kendrick were also planned to be in the game with entrance motion supposedly made. But obviously, you know, with all the Benoit shit going on, Ukes ran out of time.
So it's basically his fault.
This game right here, SVR 09, is the shit-dripping trophy of removed wrestlers in SVR games. As far as anyone is aware, the only model known to exist in the files of this game that didn't make it in the final cut was the Godfather.
Why?
He was supposed to be DLC and just ended up getting recycled for WWE 13. But we do have a ridiculous amount of announcer calls for cut wrestlers. We have
Floyd Money Mayweather
in the data for the game, who was cut for money issues. Mike Knox,
The Highlanders, Shannon Moore, Kevin Thorne, Paul Burchill, Drew McIntyre,
Balls Mahoney,
D.H. Smith,
I remember him.
and the goated trio
from the other side of the tracks at a combined weight of 465 pounds, Dukes and Domino.
I don't remember them.
They were perfect for a video game. How did they get cut? Okay, SVR 2010 had no leftover models, but one really odd omission that literally made it all the way to the Road to WrestleMania mode for Mickie James. Candice Michelle literally gets mentioned by The Miz by name in a cutscene, and she's nowhere to be found in the game at all.
Oh my god, I remember that.
Candice Michelle. That's not Candice Michelle. It's Mickie James.
This always confused me as a kid. Like, of all the people they could have left in the cutscene, why her? But everyone else that was removed was very, very early on in development here.
I find that funny. I'm sorry I keep pausing it, but I find that kind of funny that he did that, especially now with the 2K games where everybody's getting released. I know back then it was kind of different, but at the same time, it's like they get released, but I know they get released before, or no, after the games were made. So basically, technically, they're still a part of the game, even though they're not in the company anymore. But I know there's some games where they are mentioned, but they're not in it, or they do make the games when they're released, but they take them out. Just like with Daniel Bryan, when they were doing, I think 2K22, Daniel Bryan wasn't in that one, but yet he got released while the game was in development, but they removed him for whatever reason during I think the last process of the game getting made, which made no sense. I don't know why they took him out. And I did remember Zachary, or what's his name? Wesley's old partner. I forgot his name, but I think his name was Zachary. I remember for 2K, I think 23, he got removed from controversial stuff, but yet they were still making the game before, or I guess after he got released or something like that. He was in the game, but then after the controversial stuff happened, they removed him for no reason, but yet they still mentioned him in the game, and they still had like I guess when you play as Wesley, they still had like the theme song with him in it and stuff in it, which makes no sense. Like, why would you do that? You could just keep him in the game, but just don't put him in the next one. That makes no sense. I don't know why they do it like that. But again, this is back in the day, but I know sometimes they'll still do it nowadays in the 2K games, which is kind of weird. But anyways, back to the video. I'm sorry.
We're looking at Ricky Ortiz, Manu, Bam Neely, Boogeyman, Mike Adamle,
I don't know
Hurricane, Kung Fu Naki,
I remember him.
Layla, and DJ Gabriel.
I don't remember who that is.
I don't know. I guess we had to make room for Cowboy Bob Orton and Dusty Rhodes in street clothes. In our final game here, SVR 2011, we had two fully finished characters in Carlito and Hurricane that got omitted from the roster.
Why?
These guys were exclusively in Road to WrestleMania mode and Story Designer. But Great Khali and Tommy Dreamer are also referenced a bunch of times in the Road to WrestleMania mode on the whiteboard. I haven't seen any models for either of them yet, though. The Dude Busters, Chris Masters, and Tyler Rex are also mentioned in the data for the early builds of 2011. What a shame. So many guys were almost done, and they just got completely left out of the game. I hope y'all enjoyed this one. Holler at me with any cut wrestlers that I might have missed, and catch me in the next one. Take it easy.
Yeah, that's wild. That makes no sense that they would just eliminate them, or basically take them out of the game before or after they get released. That makes no sense. But anyways, guys, let me know in the comments down below what videos you want me to react to next, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.